Chris, and our show is called Time and Space, and it is a thrill to get to speak to you and to have you on as guest today. I was really looking forward to this interview.
Hi, guys.
I'm sorry about the mix-up on the time zone thing. I actually looked at a map, too, but obviously I didn't pay close enough attention and didn't get that right. It's only 3 time zones, so...
Yeah, we figured it out eventually, because we did the math and we thought, maybe you were looking at the wrong time zone. So it's okay. We're night owls anyway.
That's a big help then. I was actually probably up when you first sent me that message and didn't even notice it because I was falling asleep already. So.
Oh, wow.
What time is it over there?
It is now about 7:15 a.m.
Oh, yeah, too early for me.
So it's a little, after 10 over there, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Still the same day of the week, at least.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever spoken to anybody as far away from here as this. So this is neat. Listen, let me just jump right into it.
Can I just turn my air conditioner off? It's just in the
Oh, yeah, go right ahead, sure.
Yeah, thanks.
It's really hot here at the moment for some reason. It's not even summer. It's really strange.
What is it? This is going to sound like such a stupid question. Is it summertime there, technically, or?
No,
yeah, it's really hot today.
It's still spring. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And really hot, huh? No, it's finally started to cool off here. We didn't have much heat or anything over the summer, but I like the cooler weather anyway. So your website, mysteriousuniverse.org, is one of the greatest websites I think I've ever seen. Ben, do you do that site yourself?
The design, yes, I did the design over a couple of months, and we had someone code it up for us. So yeah, I'm pretty proud to say it's my design. It's like one of the first designs that I've put together, and it just came together pretty nicely.
I remember you talking about the site quite a bit in your first few episodes on what I guess you're referring to as season 1, although that's 100 or so episodes, I suppose. But so
it's a pretty big season.
That site, I guess, has been through a couple of different evolutions, but the way you've got it now is just really impressive. That I don't know how much time you put into it, but it's very impressive. And if when we get to the point where we have our site up and running, I'm definitely going to point to yours and say I want mine to look like that. So,
well, during the time off in between seasons, I'd spent a lot of time kind of fine tuning my web design, so I had heaps of time to work on it. So it was
right.
It was lucky.
That's great. I also have to jump right in with a couple of funny tidbits, just to be an arrogant American, I guess. I wanted to
go for it.
I wanted to go ahead and if I can get my laptop to even respond to me. This thing runs so slow. It's incredible sometimes, but I do the best I can. I went on and pulled up a copy of a song called Advance Australia Fair, which I believe is actually your national anthem. I was going to kick in some of the music and ask you if you guys could hum a few bars of that song.
Please don't.
I can't remember the words. That is so embarrassing.
I wasn't sure what answer I would get, and I didn't know if I could knock you for that.
The last time I sung that was primary school.
Yeah, we got you. There we go.
Oh no.
I won't let it run the whole way. I just thought it was funny when I listened to it last night. I was trying to imagine you guys singing along with this.
Old and spoiled and well fought boil.
Well, on behalf of the people of the United States, I also wanted to thank you guys, your entire country, for the gift of the Wiggles, because I don't think our culture would be the same if we didn't have those guys on TV. And I have 2 little kids, so I know what I'm talking about. I've been through several episodes of that show.
Indeed.
I don't think it's the phenomenon it once was, maybe, but still, I found it amusing. I also wanted to know if all the women in Australia look like Elle Macpherson.
They do.
Please say yes. Please say yes.
Wow.
Depends on how many beers you've had.
Yeah, I suppose it does, doesn't it? On a more serious note, this is about half serious and half just trying to crack a dumb joke. Is there some sort of a Steve Irwin national holiday?
Danger, danger,
No.
danger.
We were talking about that just before. No, there's not. He's not really as big here as he was in America. Like, he's huge in America.
Right.
But he didn't seem to attract the same type of attention here. I don't know why.
Huh.
He actually got into a lot of trouble here, especially with the baby in the crocodile pen thing. A lot of people got really upset with him.
I'm sure they did, and we still occasionally, or at least we did. I suppose it's faded away now, but we used to see clips on the Soup and other shows of his
Hello.
daughter apparently doing some sort of, I don't know what that was,
yeah,
variety
Bindi.
dance show.
Yeah,
That was
Bi-
something to see.
I think Bindi has her own show, doesn't she?
Is that her name?
I believe it is.
Guys,
yeah.
we're losing you. We're losing you.
Are you really?
Yeah, we can't really get you. It's like what's that bad 80s guy that repeats?
Oh,
himself
Max
like that.
Headroom.
It's like Max Headroom in here.
You think maybe we should just try you back? I don't know what difference
Yeah,
it might make.
maybe I'll call you and initiate the call. Maybe that'll help. Just try
Sure.
something different.
Sure, we can take a
Alright.
shot at that. That's fine.
All right, give me a sec. I'll
Yeah,
call you
no
back.
problem. Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Hey. Just adding Aaron in.
That's fine. I was curious to know if you're familiar with what I'll call an Australian-themed chain steakhouse that happens to be popular here in America. We see advertisements all the time that insist,
Outback
there's
Steakhouse.
yes,
Is that what it is?
Bingo.
Yeah, I know.
yes.
that. Yeah.
I'll explain. We have another guy that's another co-host of ours. He's an executive chef and he works for a competing steakhouse over here. But we were just curious to know if there was such a language as Australian and what is the Australian word for beer. We get a little tired of the Foster's commercials that have been on for many moons, but
Nobody drinks Foster's over here.
Yeah, I guess the only word that isn't for beer is Foster's.
Yeah, no one drinks Foster's here.
I was going to say the same thing. I spent a little time in Germany last year, and of course, whatever German brands of beer you can come up with, nobody's drinking those over there. They've all got their own microbreweries. What if we ever found ourselves in Australia? Is there something that you'd recommend?
Corona.
Well, that's very popular over here as well.
Excellent answer. That's great. All right, let me get into some of the MU stuff here because I have been a fan. I think I picked up on the show right around maybe episode 25, and I was completely hooked and, of course, depressed for a while after it seemed to have disappeared. So I have been
thanks,
through
Mike.
many episodes. I've got a few of them that are just favorites, and I listen to them constantly. Could you talk a little bit about the origins of the show? Where did it come from? Whose brainchild was it?
Well, it was really kind of sprung from my need to be creative, because my background is in electronic music, and I'd been making electronic music for years and years since I was early teens, and I was in the music industry for a while, and eventually kind of got out of it because it wasn't really what I wanted to do. But I still needed to be creative. And alongside that, kind of the two main things in my life were my love for electronic music and production. And my other love was, I guess, the paranormal and, strange mysteries and things and telling stories. So those two kind of came together when I decided to do the show. I just needed a creative outlet.
Sure.
And I thought, why not just tell these amazing stories and do this podcast? So it kind of came from that.
And where does the show, or does it appear on some sort of flagship radio station or anything on in Australia? Are you hooked up or syndicated that way, or is this exclusively just on the internet and iTunes? And
Well, originally the show was paired with the SOH radio network,
Right.
which was going out locally, but it was only on kind of community stations, community FM stations here in Sydney. So it's never really been syndicated by kind of the old school, transmission
Sure.
over radio, and it never really got any popularity through that. It really just came through the podcast.
And now with digital radio is becoming something quite big in Australia. They're trialing it next month, I think. And I don't know what our future will be there, but certainly we're going to look into maybe jumping onto one of those new digital stations that comes out.
those are pretty popular here too. In fact, XM radio is based here in Washington D.C. As a matter of fact, their headquarters down on New York Avenue there. So,
Oh, wow.
how about what can you tell me about the size of your following as best as you're able to calculate it? You used to talk about Podcast Alley quite a bit, and I've got a couple of other reference points to throw at you. Just out of curiosity, but do you have a way of measuring your fan base?
Yeah, we can measure downloads, unique downloads of each episode, and I don't like to give away kind of specific
Fair
figures
enough,
of
of
our
course.
listenership, but I can tell you that since the show began, there's been over 2.4 million downloads of the
Wow.
episodes. So that's a figure I can throw.
And
out there.
I have to figure a lot of those are in North America. Where else besides North America are you getting traffic from?
Well, that's the funny thing. It's like it's an Australian a show done in Australia, but 80% of our audience is from North America.
Wow.
But we also have
Wow.
a lot of Canadian listeners, a lot of UK listeners, and of course Australia. But then you get these emails from people in really faraway places. I once got an email from someone on the Antarctic base who was
Wow.
spending
Wow.
hours downloading the episode on their, whatever satellite connection they had.
Right.
And actually, a few emails from people serving in Iraq
Oh yeah.
and Afghanistan, which is always great to hear. And then like Eastern European countries where you would think like they wouldn't normally listen to an English podcast, but
Right.
It really does spread far and wide.
That's
It's
got to be
amazing.
a really great feeling to see some of those. Yeah, I can't imagine what that must be like to see some of the countries and names that pop up.
Well, it really does. Podcasting just spins your head around because you just think that people all over the world could be listening to you right now.
Right.
Because it's not time sensitive, so they could be listening to it at any time in any place doing whatever.
It sounds a bit cliche to people who maybe aren't as savvy about it, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, once you put that thing out there, you really couldn't possibly anticipate who's going to pull it down off the internet next. Do you guys listen to Whitley Strieber's Dreamland?
No, unfortunately, I actually haven't heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were kind of discussing this before. I've heard of Dreamland and I've listened to it before, but we were kind of trying to think of what other paranormal kind of themed media that we listen to. And the truth is, we look at this
overload.
stuff and yeah, it's overload for us because we research this stuff every single day. We're reading the news every day. We're looking at the news feeds constantly. We're buying magazines, we're watching movies, and to go out and listen to hours of these other shows, it's just kind of it's overkill for us.
Sure. No, that's actually a very logical answer. And honestly, from listening to your shows, you must be doing that. You must be sitting around just constantly watching feeds and have about 10 windows open looking at different websites because I can't imagine how much work you put in to pull, to sift through the garbage and pull the stories down that you do. So
There's a lot of it out there.
just out of curiosity from listening to a lot of the old episodes and now the new episodes, is Aaron actually doing any work or are you just doing it all yourself, Ben? No,
Ben's doing it all.
I'm kidding, of course. He
When Aaron first kind of got in touch with me, I was a little bit concerned as to what his research skills would be because the paranormal is such a niche field that you need to, first of all, you have to have a pretty high bullcrap detector, but he's come along in like leaps and bounds since we started, and the best thing is the audience response to Aaron coming in as co-host has just been tremendous. They're really starting to
as a
like
listener and a fan, I will definitely say it's added a great new dimension to the show, and I think it's great that he's on with you. Aaron, what can you say about your background and what got you interested in this in the first place?
Well, I'm an ex-crime scene examiner. I was doing that for a few years, and I was actually living in Canberra, which is the nation's capital, but it's a very tiny city here by